was astounded when I received the message on LinkedIn, which is a professional networking site of which I'm there to connect with other lawyers on a professional basis, not to be objectified on the basis of my physical appearance. Now, I chose to include that message within a tweet on Twitter because I wanted to know how many other women had experienced sexism in professional spaces, in the workplace and online. And I think that the response that I have received from this tweet really shows the fact that it struck a chord with so many women and men who have experienced sexism, and they've come out and shared their story. And I want women to go away and take the message that now is the time to call out sexism when you feel comfortable and safe to do so.
And can you explain to us why you think it's sexist, what he said? He described your photograph as stunning.
Yes, and prior to that, he also mentioned that he realised it would be horrendously politically incorrect. There was an acknowledgement of the wrong before he then went on to articulate that wrong.
And what do you say to those who have been, clearly many people supportive of you on social media, some more critical, some say that it was an overreaction to name and shame him, given as they see it, he was paying you a compliment. What do you say to them?
I say that I have received a phenomenal backlash, as women and men do when we call out sexism. It's not uncommon, and it's considering the ramifications on your professional career when calling out that sexism, unfortunately, is something that women do have to consider. And it serves nothing more than a silencing mechanism. It's preventing us from taking a stand against misogyny and sexism and calling this kind of behaviour out. No woman needs to accept that.
Give us a sense, in a bit more detail, can you, of the kind of response you've had? You say you've had support, but tell us a little bit about the other side of the reaction that you've had.
I don't want to play too much on the negativity of this, but I've had comments really rather vulgar, discussing my physical appearance in quite some detail, in a very sexualised manner, which again serves, in my view, to silence women. My voice isn't being heard. Instead, what has become the content of the messaging is, again, my body.
And the lawyer concerned, Mr. Carter Silk, has apologised to you, has he not? Are you satisfied with that apology now?
The reason that I'm not satisfied with the apology is that the apology is for the offence that I have taken. So there is no acknowledgement that the message that he sent was inappropriate or is sexist, and he hasn't taken responsibility for that action, and that is why I'm requesting an apology for that message.
And give us a sense more broadly, as I say, some people saying this was intended as a compliment. When is it appropriate and when isn't it appropriate to pay a compliment like that, in your view?
It's certainly not appropriate to discuss somebody's physical appearance on LinkedIn and on professional networking sites. That belongs to dating websites. LinkedIn is not Tinder, okay? And people have tried to draw parallels between what has happened in this case on LinkedIn and asking somebody else through the workplace. They're asking somebody out who you work with. And what I'd say is that they are very different situations, okay? You have one where you are seeking to make connections based on your professional skills, and you don't know often the person that you're connecting with. That is the purpose of that connection. Whereas in the workplace, when you work with a professional, you have, I would have thought, developed a rapport and a relationship so that both feel comfortable to take the relationship to a next step.
And there are those today who also have expressed some support for the action of shaming what he did, but not necessarily naming him, because they say that there is a risk then that you are in some way subject to a kind of mob justice of social media. Do you see that they might have a point there?
What I'd say is that in this instance, this was from a legal professional, someone very senior, and as lawyers, we have a responsibility to uphold the law and uphold the legal principles of which that enshrines. And that includes gender equality and anti-sex discrimination. Okay? And that is why I chose to do what I have done, whilst I respect the right to privacy, and I think that's an incredibly important principle. The solicitor in this case was named because, in my view, the public interest of exposing sexism outweighed any privacy in this respect. And if people do not challenge this kind of sexist behaviour, there'll be no repercussions for their actions, and the behaviour won't change, and neither will our culture.
How great an issue do you think sexism is in the legal profession?
I think it's rampant, and that's not my view, actually. That is from a report which was published by the Bar Council of this year, and it said that sexism is rampant at the bar, and this was after interviews with barristers, women barristers who expressed the sexism and misogyny that they'd experienced. And I think it's incredibly prevalent, and it's unfortunate because the legal profession has historically been a place which has not been open to women. It's excluded women. And we want to open that space up, not only to women, but to other minorities. And by silencing women, by discussing their physical appearance, it's preventing them from feeling comfortable to work within that male-dominated profession. We need a real kind of change in attitude, behaviour and culture.
You say that there are many young people who don't want to speak out about certain behaviour that they think is inappropriate because they worry about the impact it could have on their career. Are you worried about your career and speaking out having an impact on you?
Yes, I am. I am worried about that. I think, again, it just shows the concern which women have, including myself, about calling out sexism, because the ramifications of that can be significant for your career. And that's incredibly unfortunate when you have to really think about calling out the sexism as the hand that feeds you.